Okay, and we're recording. Good deal. Let me get this minimized real quick. Got it. Okay, so as always, I'm Brian Kynes, the creator of the Tales of Ulran campaign setting. We're using Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, heavily homebrewed, to tell our story. And the awesome pair of fellas that are joining me today are going to help me write another chapter in the book. Okay? Danny, the one that we're going to do some plan B, by the way. I want to go ahead and mention that first. Danny ended up having to work late tonight. As you know, he's a pilot and he can't control these things sometimes. And then we had a good friend of ours have some medical issues. She's doing just fine, but she's taken the weekend to recoup and chill a little bit. And we wish her the best and stuff. So, we were left with a weird situation. So, I'm going on vacation here very shortly. I'm going to leave on the 9th, and I won't get back till the 16th. And it's on a Sunday and a Sunday. So this is our last chance to play for a good little chunk of time. So we wanted to do something. But how the hell do we do that? When Colby's on top of a roof with a bunch of bottles of wine in one spot, and Jeremy's character just opened Pandora's box practically in front of these people and let off a spider bomb, right? So after giving it some thought and talking to these guys and seeing how much bullshit we want to try to get away with and rewriting things and whatnot, I think I've come up with a pretty neat idea. We're going to go strictly theater of the mind tonight. There will be no battle maps or things of that nature because this was a very last minute thing and that takes a bit of prep. But I think this will be a pleasant surprise for them and you folks if you're checking this out. So, here's how I want to do this. Let's go ahead and go back to you first, Colby. Okay? I know your character's pretty pleased with themselves because they come up with this awesome idea of putting stale beer in one of several different bottles that you were going to bring back to this group of people that you had just met recently. Down in the middle of the street by a fountain, you met a large half ogre, which seemed to be some kind of distillery and brewmaster of some kind. That sounded very intelligent and well spoken for a half ogre, which you found very curious. Okay, and he said he was a person that worked for the winery, and the winery's name is called the Fighting Spirits. And hanging above the wall is a placard that shows a giant foot, sandaled, coming down, and it shows a halfling standing underneath of it with a sword pointed up at the bottom of the foot, as if he's getting ready to defend himself, and the giant's going to step down on the foot and stab its toe. And it's called the Fighting Spirits Distillery and Meadery is what this place is called. Okay? Now, as you walk out of that small, privately made, you were kind of being hushed because there was that gnome in there that had his bare ass sticking up in the air, and you were trying to just kind of make your way out of there with the bottles. And as you do, something doesn't seem quite right. You ever go inside in the middle of a summer day, and then when you go back outside and there's cloud cover and it's way darker than you imagined it would be, and you get that kind of weird feeling in the bottom of your gut? Like when you slept too long, you don't know what time you're waking up. You guys familiar with that feeling? That's what you're getting overwhelmingly, Arsin. If you would, please, I'd like for you to roll a perception check for me. And you are muted, by the way, just so you know. Excuse me. What'd you get on your check, Colby?
20.
A 20? Really? Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Not a natural, just a regular.
Okay. Still pretty good. I mean, you know what I
Hmm.
mean.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know that it wasn't the natural one.
Right on, bud. Okay. Thanks for being honest. You need to teach Danny that trick. So anyway, uh, when people don't show up, we get to give them shit. It's just part of the deal. Uh, with that, when you walk outside, you get this uneasy feeling, and your heart starts to beat kind of fast. Like this is the looking an uncomfortable thing, and it's overwhelming you in some way. And as you look around, you know the snow was falling to a degree when you first came in here. Although it wasn't much, it was wind blowing snow off the roofs and things of that nature. The snow is not moving that fast now. It's literally half of its normal speed. And you start to look, and the colors are starting to fade out of people around you. You can see red on their cheeks. Every once in a while, when you look at somebody, you can catch the color of someone's eyes that would stand out brightly. Maybe there's a torch lit. Someone's walking down the middle of the street, or there's one in front of one of the many buildings on this first level of New Gemdar, and it seems to remain, but it throws deeper shadows. And with that 20, you almost get this sensation of panic. What do you do in that moment when you notice this? What's the first thing you would do?
I think he would be ready to see if like anything might be coming. Like if he's able to see if anything's coming at him, and like might have his hand on his hilt of his short sword.
Okay. Something very interesting happens. As you reach down for your short sword, and you're looking, you notice that your body seems to have a tracer. And when it does, you notice, I want you to roll another perception check, but this one roll an investigation check with advantage. And that will have to do with how I describe this to you.
17.
A 17. You notice that the tracer you're leaving, which seems to be like a half a second behind your normal amount of time, Colby, looks like a version of you that you've only seen in nightmares. You see it, the heavy, dark, battle-worn black armor that you've only got flashes of in your memory. Okay? Just a moment. Okay, I'm back. You remember what it feels to be here, Colby. You always have, you close your eyes for just a minute as if you don't believe exactly what's happening to you. And you think back of those flashes. You think back at that large centurion-like man with long dark hair that was carrying you out of what looked like a cursed woodland area with spikes on the trees and a heavy overcast. You think about the silent and beautiful words of that fair, red-haired Silveran woman. And your heart starts beating. In the distance, you hear those exact whispered words that I explained to Jeremy's character when he first opened the box. Those words that seem like they're being sucked backwards. Do you remember that? And there was a very distinct, enchanting, yet sinister female voice that was throwing shade, practically. I was like, you can't escape me. And all these sounds of these spirits and stuff, yeah. And it's all coming backwards, and you can hear this. It seems like with your 17 and your 20 earlier, this would be coming in the direction that the others went. When you guys broke the group to go do your separate things. Okay? Now, hearing that, tell me what's the first thing you're looking at, what's your instincts and your thoughts, and I'll guide you from there. But you hear this, and it's in that place. You feel as if now you are in between that place you were stuck, wherever that was for so long, and that tracer, that sinister part of you, is your connection to that place. And you hear these whispered words. What are you doing? And ask any questions you want. I'll help detail whatever you want to look at, wherever you want to go. It's D&D, baby. We'll go with it. Plan B.
I think he would go to the direction that they went. I go in that direction.
Okay. Are you going to try to descale this and climb down?
Yeah.
Okay. As you do this, and you look down, you remember briefly that the way you got up here so easily and so quickly was because Finn cast some kind of spell on you, which made you soar straight up here, like you were shot wine shooting out of a shook-up bottle or something. I mean, just you shot straight up out of there, okay? And when you look down for a minute, you notice that Finn and those other two people are also moving extraordinarily slow. They haven't even made eye contact with you that you've walked out of there yet, and are looking over the edge and looking down the side getting ready to descend, as if they haven't even noticed your presence. Okay? It's eerie is the best way to describe this, the sensation you're getting from this. Go ahead and roll me an acrobatics or athletics check for you to be able to get down, and let me know what you get. You said something, but I couldn't understand you, Colby. What'd you say?
I was just talking to myself. That would be 16.
A 16's okay to do this. DC of 15 is getting down well. DC of 10, you would have been, had some trouble, but you're able to descend. And as you do notice that the snow that was resting on some of these ladder handles and then some of the cannon beams that were out and things like that are slow to react to your presence. It makes it kind of hard for you to get a grip and feel for where you are on some of the ladder rungs that come off of one place. And when you walk, whatever light snow there is, it doesn't give to your steps normally. Very strange. And you head the direction that the others went in. Now, let's make sure that we know they told you they were going to that caravan to go ahead and start checking out what Az'ara's family was up to. Is that correct? Or did you... I think because you all had that conversation where you were going to split off and you were going to go ahead and Yeah, I believe that you were there when that conversation was had. Because Az'ara made it very clear that she was going to take Rook that direction, but was going to be very cautious about it. Finn said we'd catch up with him later. Is that correct, Jeremy? I believe so. Okay. Let's stop with you for just a moment, Arsin, and let's go ahead and get back to Rook. Okay? In that moment, the box drops, and you see genuine fear in Hector's eyes. They go wide. As he backs up, and remember, he put his hand out to his son, Damien, and said, go to your sisters. Hurry! And as he begins to back up, the box falls, and that corner opens up, and sand starts to pour out, and then an eruption of countless amount of spiders starts to crawl and swarm and multiply in what could only be in some kind of arcane thing. This is not natural. Just the size of the box itself just doesn't make any sense. And there's a real moment of just kind of shock and awe. I need you, Jeremy, to roll me a wisdom saving throw. Let me know what you get.
21.
Okay. You are compelled to run at first. Something about this is overwhelming. And you're able to fight off the urge to do this. Okay? And you remember you hear those same whispered words that seem to come out of this place. And then something different happens. As you're looking at these spiders, and you're looking at the panic on Hector's face, and you see him pull out, what was it? He had some kind of, like saber that was made out of sand, correct? It was like an elemental saber.
Forming a scimitar out of the sand.
Yeah. So, as that starts to happen, all of a sudden you see him, and you're watching him start to swirl his finger around, and all of a sudden you realize he's moving slower than you would have thought. Right? And all of a sudden you see him leaving a tracer of sand around him in a very beautiful swirl, and it starts to fall slow around him as if he's creating some kind of barrier with his finger. And then you realize the snow around him is also fall too, and you see things start to lose color. You're very familiar with this. Roll me a history check.
$19.
You recall something when this happens. You carry a darkness with you, and you don't talk about it very often. And you're able to ignore its call and the allure of knowing that there's things there that you could see if you chose to. But only very rarely do you give in to the temptation to do so. It's a painful thing. It's remembering where you came from and where you'll never be able to go back to. As mortal and human, or as a Voldros as you are, as immortal as you are, you've never been able to shake the compulsion of feeling your best and the most comfortable in the darkest places. In places that other people would do anything to escape. Silent, corrupt, cursed places. You have always naturally found. You feel at peace there, and you've never quite understood why. In dreams, especially more when you were young, it was almost like you were traveling places at night, walking through memories, seeing scenes of things that didn't make any sense to you, seeing the darker side of people. You can almost hear their thoughts as if it was a narrator reading a book to you in their own voice. Hearing secrets about people. Hearing disturbing thoughts and hearing the truth of people. And that voice reminds you of something. One time when you were very young, you're with your father. I'd say you were probably about 11. Still large. And still, but not the man you are now. And you were sailing through a place, and something like this happened exactly. As you guys were on the airship deck, things started to slow down, and the life and the color and the beauty of the sky and the clouds fell away, and things became gray. The only thing that remained that showed anything was the distant red golden glow of the sun, but it was hampered and hindered greatly. As you're soaring through the sky and you felt the wind on your face, your father come up to you and he put his hand on your shoulder. And he spoke slower as it affected him as well. Don't worry. Don't fear this. She's waiting for you. And as that happened, you looked down to the edge of the ship and there was a figure with hollow eyes and pale, transparent skin, dressed in a long gown with broken ropes tied around her wrists. As she walked up to you, her gown moved slow like everything else, but she was on the same speed that you were. You were free in this place. And it felt comforting. As she walked up to you, her words, when this being, this person, walked up to you, sounded very similar to the words that you're hearing right now. The same way that they reverse, and you can hear all kinds of other souls intertwined with her words, as if her words have the static of many different thoughts and words all at once coming back, and they blow through like wind. They're not words that come and resonate in your ears and your mind. They go past, if you're lucky to catch them. You remember feeling fear. But your dad, although frozen in time or greatly slowed like everybody else, his hand remained on your shoulder. He looked straight forward, but not connecting with her gaze. This phantasmal woman walked towards you. And as beautiful as she was in the distance, the closer she got to you, you realized that there was a deep sadness to this woman. Okay? She turned over to the side, and first she put her hand up to caress your father's face, and the hand goes through. And she moved in closer, and you almost panic for a minute because you're afraid maybe she's going to hurt him. And she began to sing. She began to sing a song. And it felt familiar to you. Rook. As she sang, you looked over and your father, nothing moving, but a tear formed up in his eye and fell. As that happened, it fell slowly. As she continued to sing, and she reached out and it touched her. And for that moment, her hand began to spring life. As the color entered into her hand, She looked over to you quickly, and she quickly reached out for your hand and ran her finger through your hair and was touching on your shoulder. And she continued to singing, and her face, although trying to twist to look happy, almost looked in pain in a way, as she was able to feel you for just that moment. And then slowly the grayness crept back up into her hand again. As she looked around, she began to sing to you, Rook. As she walked away, walked over to the edge of the ship, you felt bad for her. And you went to step towards her, but the stone hand of your father held you there, as it was frozen in time as well. She walks over to the side of the ship. Panic wells up inside of you. She can't jump. She won't. Why would she jump? Let me go. But he couldn't hear you. When you look over to grab the hand, you look back, you catch a glimpse of the white of her robes drift off into nothingness as she disappears into the sky, as if she stepped off the ship and became part of the clouds and fog itself. You are in that same moment. You are in between the place where that figure that touched your father's heart and the place where you exist. You're in between those two places right now. Okay? And as that happens, you know that there are truths to this. You have heard things very similarly to what I explained to Arsin earlier. You could hear the whispered thoughts of people when you're in this place. You could see people that you knew were long gone or didn't exist, but were there just glaring over people, or people that were just sad or just angry and lost in this place. You saw things that living people aren't supposed to see. But, unlike everybody else that tells the ghost stories, you felt like this is where you belonged. You embraced that. That's what made Rook who he is today. You know what I'm saying? So, as you hear this voice, you also know that there are hidden truths when you're in this place. And sometimes in your dreams, you are able to go here. There have been different times throughout your life, and we'll get to those as you play, where you've been able to select and choose to do this. But never has this wave of being able to go into this place that you recognize as being called the Netherfall. Never has it just washed upon you like this. And you start looking around and you see something. I want you to roll me a perception check, please.
$19.
A 19's pretty good, bud. Okay. That helps me a little.
Plus one of us to see anything nether specific.
Get right on, yeah. And I wanted to get these descriptions out because this is your guys' first in-character jaunts into this. And this is very specific to both of you. So I hope this description is painting a good picture for you. Okay? It's a little long-winded, but I think it needs to happen once so you get a good feel for what's happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm good. I'm good with it if you are. With a 19. You look over naturally because you hear this voice. And you know, Rook, in your mind that if you can hear that voice and you're in this in-between place, you'll be able to find the source of that voice. Where other people wouldn't. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know, you have seen what casts shadows. You have seen sometimes what makes the creaks in the floor when no one's around. And you're preparing yourself to look and find where that voice comes from. Okay? As you look around at the 19, you hear this voice. And you remember, from this maiden that was on this airship, these words wash over you in a direction almost like the winds. And as you look around, you see a figure in the distance. Probably about 50 foot away. Okay? This woman seems to be made, it's a female form, Okay? And she seems to be made of what looks like thousands upon thousands or hundreds of thousands of little black spiders, just like the ones that are coming out of that chest and going around. She has red robes on, okay, that swirl in a fashion very much to the one you've seen before. And she has a hood pulled down long and far, and you can see spider webs drifting off of her, almost like ghostly flames coming off the back of the cloak. And it almost takes your breath for a minute. I need you to do a wisdom saving throw for me again, Jeremy.
21.
What was it?
21.
Fight or flight. When you look at this thing, oh, that feeling of like, dude, what have I done? I brought this here. I have to fix this. That courage wells up inside you, Rook. That Voldros determination floods you and lets you power through this as you gaze and look upon her. Okay? Now, here's what I want to do. Okay? We're going theater of the mind here. So ask questions, okay? Make sure you understand where you're at and what's going on. Colby, I want you to roll me a basic dexterity check, and we're going to use that to gauge how quickly you're able to get from where you are to where they are. Now, I'm going to refresh your memory a little bit because they were talking about it. There's these ancient part of, or section of New Gemdar that is called the Old Theater District section. And there's this ancient, and what did we end up calling it again? What was the name? It wasn't a Coliseum, it wasn't a stadium, it was a... Bella's the one that said it, like an amphitheater. It looks like all the slanted back stone. Yeah. It was like that with no roof, though. It was just an outdoors under the stars kind of place where old theater things used to happen. And this part of the city is really just used for ritual purposes and worship, and they decorate up certain times a year. But it's not used anymore, where there are places in the city that are grander than this. This is a place of prayer, almost like a tourist attraction here, kind of. And you know that a lot of the caravans, Arsin, were brought in and were parked here because they talked about it while they were watching the show at the Endless Satire. And that her family would be there and they were going to go that direction. So what was your check, your basic dexterity?
Is that with modifiers or no?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Then 21.
The spirit of Danny McGuffey is with you all. I mean,
we are home, good sir. This is our ballpark.
that's right, by God, hey. Hey, you know, I get it. So, that's good. Okay. That's hot. I'm eating like spicy gumbo, and it's like the hottest food I've ever had out of a can in my life.
Really opens up the sinuses, doesn't it?
It's imposing, sir. It really is. But I like spicy food. So anyway, in our games, we eat and play, people, because it's real. So anyway, with what was it again? It was a 21, did you say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you get there, you start to feel this growing threat, like this voice can be up to no good. You being back in this place again, I'm just curious, give me some underlying thoughts that you're going through right now. You know, as you are being brought back into this place, or this place is coming to you possibly again. You know you're wanting to urgently get there. You've kind of established that with us. But give me an idea what your mind is so I know how to work with you moving forward.
I would say like he'd be trying to get over there pretty quickly to see if he was the only one affected by it,
Okay.
or not. But he would also be careful since it's unknown to him.
Okay. Is there any fears
Like
about
this.
things coming back to get you? Are you not worried about that? Are you worried about the danger could be bringing others, and if everyone's affected this way, or any of those kind of things? Or maybe you've not had time to be that. Maybe you're just trying to go to help, you know?
I would say he would. I would. I would say he wouldn't be necessarily concerned about himself, but more about people around him at that moment.
I like it. Okay. And the reason I'm digging at you a little bit, there's going to be reasons. Okay, bud? So,
Mm-hmm.
I'll describe that scene to you as well. As you get closer to that area, you can see. And at first, you're not sure what the hell it is you're looking at, Arsin. You look up ahead, and you see people that have turned and are running away, but they're stuck, very slow, if not completely stopped, with looks of fear, like terror on their faces, as if this has been a spell or something. Like dozens of people. And as you look past them, you see a swarm of spiders on the ground. And as you do, you see the backside of what looks like a animated woman's red dress with those cobwebs floating off it, just like I talked about, that seems to be full and animated as if it is full of spiders. As you're looking, you look past her and you see Rok up in the distance, looking back at you. Past her, you two lock eyes, as you're both viewing at her from two different directions, flanking her visually from a good distance. Jeremy, I'm going to say you were 50 foot from her, and I'm going to say, Arsin, let's just do the same for you, okay? You came up and started slowing down 50 foot of it. That's how you're able to see the swarm, okay? Now that you're both there and both in that moment, as if that wasn't the interesting part, here's where it gets real interesting, okay? So, as soon as you see that woman, I'm going to throw some things at you here, then I'm going to get your chance to respond. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
When you see that, you notice that Rok, although he's always kind of dark, he has normal colors to him as well. And Rok, you notice that Arsin seems to carry the echo or shadow, and being the class that you are, you're familiar with that to a degree, but you've never seen anything like this. He almost has like a half-second delay of what seems to be some heavily dark armored phantom-like version of himself that follows him and then joins into him. Every time he moves a step or stops or turns his head, you can see the dark horned helmet. And when he was walking towards you, you could see the long tail of the black overcoat that was on the back of this darkened armored version of Arsin. It is, you're not a person that gets spooked by shit, but this is spooky. This is some crazy looking shit, you know what I mean? So have that in your mind, okay? In that moment, this is what you guys see, okay? This is cool. I'm really glad I get to do this. In the distance, I'm going to say towards where the actual show is going to happen, where Hector actually came from, Rok. You see two people that are in green cloaks that wrap around their bodies, with the hoods drawn down tight. One seems to be a smaller figure, and one seems to be a larger, mortal-looking figure, but seems to be stout, wide-shouldered, and they are booking it at normal speed straight towards you guys. I mean, straight up getting it done quick. Okay? So, what's your initial reaction to this, Rok? Is they're coming straight to between you and where this actual box is? They're really coming right at you, practically, because that's where the box is. you're seeing this. These cloaks that they have, you couldn't really tell from the front, but they were a deep forest green of velvet, and on the ends and sides of them they have silver embroidering and wording. And the hoods are lined in a silver too, very deep emerald forest-like green, okay? And they are just straight up getting it towards you guys. What are you doing?
So, my understanding is right. Everything else around us is slowed down.
Yes.
Almost basically to a stop.
Damn near, yeah.
Me, Arsin, and Lady in Red is...
Lady in Red. I couldn't help it.
We're basically in a line. It's me, her, Arsin.
Yes.
And these two guys, you said?
2 people. They're coming quick. If you roll a perception check and get high, I'll tell you more details if that's what you're doing.
Yeah,
but I'll give you a chance to study either the girl, them, the box, Hector. Pick one and let me know, and then roll. But I'm not going to give you all of it.
And you said they're beelining to me, like they're going actual full speed.
Yeah, they're somehow this is not affecting them either.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to see what I can figure out about them.
Go ahead.
Said perception. 23.
Damn it. Well, that gets rid of a little bit of the mystique. I'll give you this. The one facing you would be the one on the left. The right, as they're coming at you, is smaller. And you can see the shape of horns. And as you roll that, I'm just going to say her hood blows back. And you see something that you've never seen before. This, and as this happens, her hand goes up like this, and she's carrying a staff in the other hand. And you see her start to say these words that pierce and have might, but sound like whispers with thunder behind them, okay? And as she's saying these words, she looks like a satire, like Quill's kind. But there is something more of the land of dawn about her. There is more druidess kind of look to her. Her horns are longer and twisted more. She has a more slanted beauty to her face. This is not like any satire you've ever seen before. And she seems to be starting some kind of incantation. Okay? The one on the other side with that same number, I'm going to say you see something pretty amazing. And this right here, you've never saw anything like this before. The first thing you notice is when he's running, he's heavy-shouldered. And when the hood starts to come back off of him as they're running towards you, you see hair made of feathers that are all angled back and come up to a peak. And this person looks like the older version of like Hugh Jackman from the Logan movie. He has that intensity. He looks just like that. And as he's coming at you, he has kind of a beastly like thing to him. But you see his hands as he's running. You see bone projected like spikes that are coming out of his elbows, 3 facing this way. And he has clawed hands, and his arms look as if they are covered in like dragon scales. And he is just straight undercutting and booking that direction. And they're not looking at you, they're looking at the book. Or the box, okay? That's what I'll give you. Because they're closing fast. Now, I think we need to roll initiative. Okay? So, let me write down some stuff here. All right, you guys. I tried to give you guys something that would work. This is working pretty good, right?
Oh yeah.
Hold on. Just a minute. Let's go Rook. Okay, let's go Arsin. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's go.
I wound up with a dirty 20 on mine. Be right back. Grab me a refill on my drink.
Go ahead. That's awesome. Okay. What'd you get, Colby? Hello.
Yeah. I was looking at my skills to see if anything else would help me
Okay.
bump it up. No. That would have been. Okay, so do we add proficiencies if it's like a weapon that's based on a
Yeah.
skill that we're
You
okay?
could add your proficiency bonus to your initiative. Yes.
All right, then it is
In our version of the game, with our rules, you get proficiency bonus plus the ability modifier of what you're trying to do on your turn.
yeah. Then it's 16 since he only can use his short sword and fists right now.
Okay.
Because as of what you have told me, he doesn't know anything else. He doesn't know anything.
Yep. You're right. Oh shit. Oh shit. Yeah, that happened. Okay, let's do this.
Arsin's been living under a rock for God knows how long.
Yep. Okay, and then let's do
Arsin doesn't even know how long he's been under a rock.
No, you don't. That's a good point, man. That's a good point. All right. So, with that, let me go ahead and I'm going to pause this real quick, and then when Jeremy comes back, we will jump into this, okay? Let me go up here on my screens and do this the right way if I can. Okay, let me find it here and pause. And pause. Okay, we'll be back here in just a minute. We'll get ready to see how this unfolds. We'll see you shortly.
Level 7.
Okay, and we're back. So, we have our initiative order. The large humanoid that had the green cloak on is going to be the first one to act in this moment. The one that had the dragon scaled arms and the feathers for hair and the intense look of a late 50s aged person that's very intense. Okay, we described it as Hugh Jackman from the movie Logan. As he's coming out that way, he runs up to the book, or not the book, the box. There's a reason I keep saying that. I apologize. And as he does, he looks around and he grabs this trident looking thing off of his back. Okay. It is a 3-pronged, almost like trident / mystic looking spear type of weapon that seems to have some kind of a sling of what looks like to be some kind of metallic blue and silver scales that hangs off the side of it, almost like some kind of netting. And he pulls it and he swings it and slams it down. And as he does, the female, the one that looks somewhat like a satire, she says to him, her eyes kind of glow up, and they glow up with this green, golden kind of color, where it's kind of green with golden flakes, and around her head and around her horns seem to start to form a bunch of fireflies. Okay? and she is saying, I'm going to need some time. Orden, contain them. And she puts the staff down and she starts to focus on something. Okay? As she is doing this, these words that she is spouting out seems to start some kind of wind moving around her. Okay? As this happens, you see elements of nature, leaves of different colors, and these fireflies that are coming around her head in a crown begin to swirl around too, and it begins to swirl around the book, or the box. Okay? So, as she's doing that, Orden takes his hands out and rips them out like this and looks back and forth and spins that trident and does a long sweeping strike against the ground, trying to hit as many of those spiders as he possibly can. Okay? As he does this, I'm just going to roll base d20, see how well he does, and I'll explain to you the scene. Okay, that. And that. Okay. This is almost reminiscent of when you watch the first Lord of the Rings and Sauron swings his mace and people just go flying. He does the same thing here. As he goes around, he clears like a whole 25% field of these spiders that are kind of coming out from that box and are heading over towards Hector. As Hector is kind of frozen in this moment, and his finger is still just, it's like frozen, barely moving. As this stream of sand was forming around Hector, all of a sudden, he comes up and hits these spiders with this thing. And as he does, it almost looks like a shockwave comes off of it, and spiders go flying by Hector, like full speed, and peppering him and hitting him and stuff like this. But as they are doing this, they seem to turn into ash and cinder and start to burn off, almost as if ashes from a campfire. Okay? And he takes a good hit out of these spiders, and he looks over to you, Rook, because you were there. He's going to use his free action. He is going to say, we're going to need to protect her. Give her time so we can seal this thing up. Are you with me? Let's do this then. That's how the dude sounds. So the next in the initiative order is going to be you, Rook. Okay.
First thing I'm going to do is I imagine both of them are pretty close to me at this point, right? He's pretty much like right next to me.
She is standing back about 10 foot away, and she is starting what seems to be like a 20-foot circle, a radiant circle around her, which catchers into this book. Or, God damn it. The box, everyone. That's the name of this episode. Is it a book? Is it a box? We don't know. Three-letter words begin to... And anyway. So, she's back about 10, 15 foot away from you. He is right there beside this box, this package, and is turned away from you and has got between the box and Hector and knocked off a good quarter of some of these things that were coming out from it. You would be standing behind him now. He would be up ahead of you just a little bit. All of you are within like 5 foot of each other, I would say.
Okay. First thing he's going to do, he's going to put some space between himself and the other two, not by much, probably about 15 feet.
Okay.
And basically going to position himself where he's standing in between them and Spider Lady.
Okay. So you'd have to turn to face her because she was coming from behind. So, let's say you've got Hector.
She's standing behind Hector?
No, behind you.
Okay.
Direction.
I say the way I remember it ending last time was that he basically positioned himself in front of Hector.
Exactly.
Between
It would
Hector
be coming
and the box.
from the spider, whatever this thing is coming the same direction that you guys walked to get here. Right.
Gotcha.
Okay, so go ahead.
So I could picture kind of it's Hector, me, the box, and then it's those two that just came in from the right.
Yep.
Imagining looking past the box and seeing her.
Yes.
So basically stepping a few about 10 feet forward of the box.
Nice. Okay. Good deal. I'm with you. I know exactly where you're at. Cool.
And then he's going to, as he's going through, if there's any spiders kind of in that path, he's going to manifest his echo.
Okay.
And then between him and his echo, they're going to go through and start mashing spiders. I don't know how big they are, but...
Okay. They are regular spider size. They're big for spiders, but, you know, a big natural spider, you'd see like a wolf spider. But there are thousands of them all over the ground that have erupted out of this place. And so far, they have reached out to a radius of... 10 foot. So far, they have reached out a radius of 10 foot around the box.
Yeah, and that puts me just outside of that radius compared to where I'm moving. So basically, yeah, it's going to be him and his echo trading blows, killing spiders to get up to that point.
Okay, so what do you have to do to manifest the echo?
Bonus action.
Okay, so make sure bonus action's gone. But
Yep.
now you have an echo and you can manifest one at this level, correct?
I think you can just manifest one at all.
Okay. And then it manifests anywhere you choose, correct?
Yep.
And how far?
Within...
And mind you, I'm not quizzing you. I need to know these things, okay?
Within 15 feet of me. And I was
Okay.
going to have it appear 10 feet to my left.
Okay, awesome. And I'm going to put it here. I'm going to say echo. Okay, I'm going to put here. Okay. Got it. Okay. So, it's 10 foot to your left, so it's out of the spiders, but you are going to have to traverse through 10 foot of them to get that direction. Okay?
Right.
So I need you to do a dexterity saving throw, and this is difficult terrain. Okay? So moving through 10 foot of them is going to be 20 foot of your movement.
You said a dexterity save?
Yes.
And I'm not good. Woo! No, that's a 6.
Okay. You take... You move 10 foot, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
You take 5 points of necrotic damage.
Okay.
I don't know if you have any resistance to that because of your class or whatnot, but if you have it written down, you do. And you would take 5 points of piercing damage as well.
Alright.
If you move-
Necrotic goes straight through, right?
Yeah, and you're able to go straight through.
Well then, does the necrotic go through armor, or does it go straight through?
It goes straight through. The necrotic damage goes straight through. But the other would be, well, here's the thing. This is a massive area of everything.
Mhm.
This is like a fireball going off. So
Right.
this is something that the armor actually affects. It gets on, it's biting you. That's what the dexterity save is for. Okay?
Does the thick skin help me at all with that? Thick skin?
It'd be a
feat?
damage reduction, yeah.
How much would it break that down?
Does
I don't
it
think it'd
say
do
on
anything for the necrotic, but I think you said basically it was just like another set of armor pretty well. It makes your flesh like leather.
Yeah, I think you had like a... I think it was a damage resistance of... it should be on the... Explain there, is it not?
I think it's got the same. Yeah, it's got the same damage reduction as my. But I've got studded leather, and then I've got my natural leather.
Okay.
So both have a damage reduction of 3.
Okay, so you have 3 damage reduction just because of your thick skin. Okay?
So I'll just take the 2.
Okay. And that's a conversation that we don't want to have every turn, but now you know. Right? But now that's good. That's why we're doing this. We're figuring out our characters. That's smart. Okay. So now you've used 20 foot of movement. You've used your bonus action to cast your echo. 10 foot to... Now that you're facing the Red Queen, it'd be 10 foot to your right. On your left side would be the 2 green cloaked people. And behind you would be the box and Hector. So now that you're out of that 10 foot radius and you've moved 10 foot closer to this spider animated red cloak, whatever the fuck it is, what are you doing with your action?
His action would have been to spin, trying to clear out some of the spiders.
Okay, so roll your attack.
I don't know. If
How
he
you
could-
want to do with which weapon? Explain to me what it looks like.
I don't know if he could wear him out in swaths like the other guy did or not.
I don't think you have a three-pronged trident that looks that badass, but you can, do what you gotta do, bud.
But I mean, I got a scimitar, and I'm a big dude swinging it.
I like it.
Let's see here. That's a 16.
A 16 hits. Go ahead and with the 16, go ahead and roll me a 1d6, Jeremy.
It's a 5.
Okay. Go ahead and roll damage.
Six points slashing.
Okay, that is enough. You were able to take out 5, like square, a 5-foot cube of this shit. Okay?
Mhm.
So, it's fairly effective on your first attack, and you see these things burst and turn into like that flaming kind of ember kind of stuff. Like the ash, like I said, it comes off like a fire, campfire. What are you doing after that?
After that's whenever he positions himself between them and Spider Lady.
Okay. And is that your turn?
Yep, that will be my turn.
Okay, I've got you here. I've got you moved up, and I've got you facing, and you are probably about 30 foot from her now. Okay. Well, she was 50, correct?
I believe so.
So you'd be 40 foot between you and her. Because you moved 10 towards her from the center of that, where the box was. Okay, and then 50 foot back is Arsin. Okay, next person to go. Arsin got a 16. Okay. And then you've got some. Okay, so on this turn, you would see this robe begin to animate even more as there's this kind of seductive like figure that these spiders are forming inside of this large ancient like swept crimson robe. Okay, and as the hands begin to come up and look straight out at you like this, and you're looking down the empty long sleeves, you could swear that for just a minute inside of the hood of this thing, as its head kind of slowly rises up, you can see the twisted grin and long locks of hair that are being animated and made by swarms and swarms of dead spiders. It's almost like when you look at the clouds, you almost see a face for just a moment, and it looks at you and it grins. And it starts to say,
Not menacing at all.
no. And when it does, and they twist around for just a moment, and then all of a sudden they move and form back into nothing, and the hood just seems to drop again to where it was, just enough to show you an image of what the spirit controlling this may look like. With that, it is going to move the swarm. Let me roll as a bonus action. Okay, the swarm, the radius of it is going to grow another 5 foot. Okay. And then she is going to, with that, she is going to use her, let's do magic, let's do 2 of those. Okay, I need you to roll me a wisdom saving throw, Jeremy.
Just 16.
What was it?
16.
16. Okay, just a minute. I'll let you know how this goes. Ooh, no. Okay. Sorry. In our game, we rolled DCs, and I rolled a natural 17. That's not even with adding on to this thing's abilities and powers. This is what you see, my friend. From that from the spiders that just extended an extra 5 foot. It seems to just keep pouring out of the box. Somehow you have figured out that she's controlling this from afar somehow, or is fueling it in some way. And as she casts this, and you've fought back the fear, and this thing has triggered memories in you, this being in this place, and you've been brave, and the Baldur's blood in you, what your people were bred for, is really coming out, and you're being that person you knew your father was in his life, right? You're fighting the fight. And then you start to look at the spiders, and something begins to happen. They seem to start climbing on top of each other, and they seem to be building and making some kind of figure and form just right beside you, Rook. And as this happens, and they start to build up and things of this nature, they take on a humanoid-like form made out of nothing but spiders, very similar to the woman or female figure that's coming at you. But this, for some reason, starts to look a little bit familiar. Something's wrong here. And as this begins to grow and build up and get larger and larger, you see a version that looks very eerily similar to your father, made out of these spiders. And as its form looks down upon you, because your father was even a larger man than you are in life, you look at him, and the mouth opens up, and there is this very multiple layered voice that comes out that somewhat resembles his voice, but it seems like there's thousands of little ones making this sound. The squeaks and the clicks from the actual spiders that are all swarmed up around him seem to verbalize as the face moves and looks like your father, and he looks extraordinarily angry. And he looks down upon you, and you see him grab an anchor. He holds it to the side, and he says, "You've been here for too long, son. It's time to come back to hell with me." And he takes the anchor and he throws it at you. There's a long chain. Does 19 hit?
It does, but it does not breach.
Okay, so it doesn't pierce you, but he's able to hook the anchor back around you, and it slams into your side, and you're in between the back hook of it, which is you caught in the back, and it's hit into your ribs, the straight part of the anchor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I need you to take, mind you, this will help, your armor helps against this, okay? Four points of bludgeoning damage. If that's reduced to nothing, then all you're taking is non-lethal damage from it, remember?
Yep.
Okay. So, 4 points of bludgeoning, and now I need you to do a strength versus strength. With this thing, it's going to pull you down into the spiders. Oh, and by the way, that damage comes in the form of actual psychic. Just so you know this.
Gotcha. So my
Okay.
armor and nothing would stop that, would it?
Well, actually, you know what? No, it wouldn't. Not in this case. This is something a little special. If you're clever, you know what it is already. Okay. Go ahead and do your strength check versus it.
Like this.
Ooh. What you got?
If I could roll my dice straight. It's 19, 20, 21.
You beat it. So as he's trying, and that comes around you, and he takes a step back, and he's trying to pull you down. As you're looking down through, you see what looks like an open hole start to form as the spiders go back and recess away. And he seems to start walking down what seems to be like steps that appear into the ground, and then as he steps down, he's starting to pull that anchor and that chain and you down into this hole with him. Spiders are crawling over your arms and shit, and they're crawling from that anchor, and they're getting all up around your neck and shit, and they feel like they're going in your mouth. It's making it hard to breathe, and you're able to You just breathe out real heavy, and you're able to just give a pull against it. And you grab that chain and yank the fuck out of it, and as soon as you do, that anchor breaks, and spiders just fly everywhere, where it's even hard to see for half a second. Okay? That's going to be the end of that. Okay? And as they clear, this menacing figure that resembles, is almost like you're just convinced that this is your father's vengeful spirit or something, here to punish you somehow, and you don't know what you've done. Okay? And it is made of the spiders right at you. All right?
I think in his overall defense, I think Brooke would use his free action to start humming that song.
Well,
not even so much to get that attention, but almost for his own.
okay.
Like this is a place he's comfortable in, but that song has always made him the most comfortable.
Okay, that's awesome.
And I think
I'm
that's
gonna
his
just
free
let
action
you-
is he's going to hum that
Okay, because
after he's breaking this.
that's awesome. I'm gonna let that happen because that's great. Okay, for theatrics, which is why we play, right? Theatrics are king. And noted. Okay, now we're going to move on to. This is going to be. Rook went. This is going to be Arsin. Arsin, you are seeing all this go down, and you are 50 foot back behind this red cloaked spider animated humanoid being. You're not sure what this is, man, but it's moving along with everybody else in the exact same way. You are 50 foot back behind her. What are you doing with your turn?
Think. I think do we know how far the ranges are breath weapons? Basically.
Do you not have it pulled up?
I can look.
It's anything like the one that's a 30-foot cone.
Yeah. You can just go with that for now until you know for sure. I'm just going to say it's 30-foot cone.
Yeah. Then I think he'll move up closer then.
Okay. How much you're 50
So
foot
the
away?
creature-
How much of your movement do you want to use getting closer to what? Her or the swarm behind her or the green cloaked figures? Who are you headed towards?
Her.
Okay. And you have 35 foot of movement?
I have 40.
40, okay. How much would you like to move?
20.
Okay. What that does is that's going to catch her in the blast if you choose to do that pretty good, and yet it wouldn't reach Rook or any of them from there.
Yeah, that's what I was planning on doing.
Okay. And you're performing this breath weapon. A 30 long, 30 foot wide at the end cone. What do I need to roll? Is it a dexterity saving throw?
Or just going off the red shadow dragon.
If he doesn't have anything better, yeah.
Because that is dex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, tell me what it looks like. Paint us a little bit of a picture here as to the visuals of this, and tell me what I need to roll, and I'll do it.
So basically, I would say, would it say like, would you say? I was like to think that like as he was getting ready to do it, his like chest or like his throat might start to sort of glow in like a lightning hue. Would
Sure.
you think stomach or throat?
Throat, buddy.
All right, yeah. So
Yes.
he's
I'm sorry. What's going on?
yeah. So I was just reading. Yeah. So his throat would start to light up a bit with a blue/purple hue, and then as he opens his mouth, you can see sparks of lightning coming out, but it doesn't seem to be like natural lightning. It seems to be a little more necrotic looking.
Oh, nice. Cool.
And
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And as she shoots it, I would say like it would sort of spread around her, but also hit her in like multiple spots as well, since it's lightning and will change direction and split.
That's badass. And I think you can do that like your proficiency bonus amount of times per day by the new rules that come out for Dragonborn in 5th edition. These are different yet kind of the same. These are Draken, which are created for a whole different purpose and reason. They look different as well, but we use those base stats from the Dragonborn as our template for the breath weapon. So I think you can do it like your proficiency bonus times a day, which is 2 for you guys. And is it 2d8? How much is it? 2d8 plus something?
I was also looking at like the dragons thing, so
Okay.
like the full like the dragon's lightning breath was like 120-foot line that's 10 feet wide.
That's the actual
That's
dragon.
what I was saying. Yeah, so 32.
We're basing this off of a mortal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you just look up the race of Dragonborn in your player's handbook, it'll discuss their breath weapon in there, and it will tell you what the range is for the lightning one.
Lightning one. It says that one is a 5 by 30 line.
Okay. Well, then you're going to do a streak. Okay, that'll work.
Mm-hmm. And it's a
Alright.
dex save. So yeah.
Okay, and what is the damage of it? You're gonna have to start doing your homework, buddy.
I know. I would probably been easier if I grabbed the books. But it would be. Yeah, so the DC would be 8 plus my Constitution modifier plus proficiency bonus, and it takes 2d6 damage on a failed save.
Okay, so like we've always done in this homebrew rule, you're going to add your bonuses, your spell save DC bonuses, but you're going to roll 1d20 instead of that 8.
Alright.
Remember how we do that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so roll a d20 and add your spell save DC bonuses to it, and tell me what the DC is that I need to beat.
Alright. Alright, 12.
Really? You rolled
Yeah.
bad, huh? Good deal.
Yep.
Good deal.
Yes. It succeeds.
And then
So it'll be half of your 2d6, and do you add your charisma or anything to that?
It just says 2d6 for it.
Okay, 36 is it.
Three, because I rolled a total of 6.
Okay, so 3 points of necrotic / lightning hybrid damage. Okay,
Yeah.
and what is using your breath weapon? Is that your full action? Is that a bonus action?
Action.
Okay.
Full action.
What else you doing on your turn?
Let's see, what else do I think that would have been the yes, so that would be the round where I only have one attack action.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, because mine's a 3 to 2.
Okay.
Tactical round.
Okay. So 1 there. So you're saying the breath weapon takes the place of 1 attack.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's the end of your turn, sir?
Yes.
Okay. So you went up how many feet towards her again, sir? Would you say 30?
20. 20.
So you're 30 foot there. I'm going to write down that space just so I can get a dimension here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Arsin has went. And now we have the swarm. Okay. They're going to attack. I need Rook, I need you to do another dexterity saving throw. And this DC is going to be... Oh, no. That's a natural 20.
Same.
Did you?
What do you do there?
Wow. Well, I mean... Well, I'm going to go to the roll numbers of it. Let me see what the total is here. So the total here is going to be 25 is going to be the DC. And this would be a double damage piece of this. What is your total after rolling a 20?
Nat 20 with a dex saving throw with a 22.
Damn. God, I hate that because it's 20 and 20, right? I know how to fix. I know what I can do. Okay, so you in the middle of this, as the spiders have moved 5 foot out, which got you in their range, which she did on her turn as one of her actions. Okay, one of her multiples. You take. I'm just going to have you take normal full damage instead of double that because you did pass. Okay? That is going to be, and this is combined, okay? So what you're doing is you're getting 5 necrotic and 3 piercing. And if that doesn't surpass it, that turns into non-lethal damage. Okay? As it's happening, I've got to do some saves for someone else real quick. That's a save. And then for the one that they've called Oridon, he did not save. And he gets to, they go up and start crawling over him and start to overtake him. And he's going to take damage. Oh, shit, okay. Okay. So, with that, the spiders have advanced and are clinging back. You can see, well, you can't because you're very, very focused on what's going on. You're actually rehearsing and singing that song you had that memory of to kind of find your happy place and comfort yourself in this moment of terror, okay? The last person to go is going to be Symphona. I need to do a check for her to make sure she can maintain concentration as these spiders are going all over the place because she's in range of it. Okay, with her, she succeeds. She is able to keep focus on what is happening. Okay? So, as this happens, this, what looks like a mystical swirling of autumn winds starts to clear away the spiders from the actual box. Okay? And it pushes them back. That rounds up to 10 foot. Okay? So it, all of a sudden they kind of go in like a tidal wave and spill out and are pushed and scattered outward. And this thing creates a 10 foot like radiant section around that actual box. Okay, it is almost like a sanctuary. Okay? As that happens, you hear that multiple clicking and high-pitched sound scream come from the actual cloak itself. And as that happens, in that moment, as a reaction, she is going to do a step, and all of a sudden the cloak drops down and disappears from where it was, and it tries to pop up again as close to the actual box as it can, and the cloak reappears and reanimates as if she's stepping through shadows here. Okay? And when she moves, she reappears, I would say, I've got the spot picked out, so she's in line with the 2 green cloaks. Let me do here, RQ. Move, okay. This one's going. And that's going to put her roughly 25 foot away from you, Rook. Push to the outside of this. As that aura that this satire has created pushes up and is right beside you like this now. Okay? As it does, it disperses part of this scene that you're seeing. It hits this form of spider's arm of your father, and he kind of winces as half of it looks off almost like he was cut off. You know what I mean? Like walking through a laser wall or some shit. And it kind of falls the ash away, and you see the other arm come over and hold onto it. He steps to the side and looks at the stuff, and you can see the light radiating in the leaves and the autumn winds and stuff flowing through this, and it kind of shines upon a face that's a twisted version of your father's, made out of thousands of spiders. Okay? With that, top of the round, Oridon. In seeing that has happened now, Oridon is going to step in. He is going to look over at this horned satire-like creature. He's going to say, "It needs to be ready. Is it ready now?" And he takes this trident and he holds up over top of it. He goes, "I need to know." She says in weakened words, as she's holding that staff, and you can see her shaking to a certain degree. The fireflies going crazy around her head now, and adding and helping this aura out. She goes, I cannot guarantee she is strong, Oridon. Try." He's going to make an attack. He raises up the trident, he spins it around, and he hits the blunt end, the bottom of it, and he comes down hard, and he's trying to slam into the box and shut the lid. Okay? Okay, he hits it. We need to do damage now and see if it's enough. No. As he strikes down upon it, you can see the actual spiders outside seem to move and react a little bit to their home or their place of origin being under attack. And half of them continue on out towards Hector and begin to climb on out and around. And they seem to be really headed towards Hector and moving around him, and not only getting after him, but moving around him like they're trying to get past him to something else. Okay? And not only that, but then the other half of them come in and are trying to get back to the box to defend it. And they're going up, and their legs and stuff are searing in that light that she's maintaining and holding around the actual box. And you can see little bits of embers, or one spider will just get a little bit too brave out of the thousands of them and will catch and poof into sparks. It's a battle, and you can see the stress on the satire's face. That is going to be Oridon's turn. Rook, you are up. I need you to do me a wisdom saving throw with advantage because of her spell, helping deflect some of that.
It was a natural 17 and a natural 18 with plus 3, 21.
21 succeeds. In that moment, and it's weird, some kind of clarity comes over you. And as you're looking at this form, and it's holding its arm, and it's kind of menacing and stuff like that, all of a sudden, when you're looking at it for a minute, doesn't look like your father at all. What? That's... And as you look again, it's almost like it was some kind of perception issue where there's waves of these spiders everywhere. It almost blends into the background now. It's almost like if you saw some kind of figure in the trees, and then all of a sudden you looked again and it was just the leaves playing some kind of illusion on your eyes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then just in that moment, you look down at the ground, the hole is gone. You reach down, there's a few spiders on you, and but there's no anchor around you. Did it even happen? React to that however you want to, and then take your turn.
All right. With the commotion going on behind me, is it safe to assume that they're trying to destroy the box?
I'll let you use your free action to make one perception check, and if that's what you want to look at, you can.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna roll with.
Okay.
Perception, let's say 17.
Yes, they're either trying to destroy it or close it, and the two seem to be working together to try to hinder what the hell's happening here somehow. Although you don't understand exactly how, but you can definitely tell from what they're doing, and him trying to strike it, and her trying to keep concentration and making that aura, and giving clarity. Yeah. And one other thing you'll notice. With that check, you would see on him, because he's turned his back to you a few times and battled these things, okay? With these large bone, almost like dragon tooth-like things coming out of his elbows. And he has these claws on his hands. There is a symbol of what looks like some kind of large tree that looks like but the tree itself is made of a woman, like twisted branches and stuff, and a female form holding her arms up, and turning it into the top of a tree. And this is all done in silvered etching on the cloak. It seems to be some kind of representative symbol. Okay? And that will be your perception check for right now. Now, what's your turn? What are you doing?
Okay. I need as the DM, what your call is on this.
Okay. Try me, buddy. Let's
Will
go. Let's go.
Does my Echo have to have the same weapon I have equipped? Or can it be use whatever attack with whatever weapon is in my arsenal?
Well, my initial instinct is that it's a projection of yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your current state is what it is based off of.
Yep.
But it's taking different actions than you are, right?
Yep. That's one thing it does not specify. So I don't know
If
if
it
I
can
want to
draw
use
out a
something
weapon
else.
of your arsenal. Okay, so I'm going to say it can. But what does it take as far as an action economy to produce, to put one weapon away and produce another? Sheathing and unsheathing. Now I know there's quick draw skills and feats and things like that.
So using an object is an action. Normally interact with objects while doing something else, such as when you draw a sword as part of an attack. When an object requires your action for its use, you take the use an object action. This action is also useful when you want to interact with more than one object per turn. So it looks like with the action, I can unsheath and use a weapon in the same action. But
yeah, but you couldn't put one away.
Yeah, but
different
you
one
can
to
use a free action to drop whatever you're holding,
Mhm.
and then use your action to that.
True, and I would. I'm going to let it happen this time, but I just let you use your free action to do a perception check.
Right. Well, that's why I was just curious of how that would roll.
For flavor, go ahead and do it this time because it's cool. I like it, and the rule of cool works. It's our game, right? Fuck what people say. I like it, but for action economy, remember that, or work on the quick draw feat or something, okay?
Right. I got you.
All right. Go ahead.
So, with
Colby, be thinking about your turn, boss, okay?
So what Rook is going to do is move forward.
Okay.
How
When
you said
you-
that the cloaked figure was about 10 feet in front of me, or like right in my face?
The cloaked figure?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it came right up there. It's like 10. Like you went to the side, so it is like a. Yeah, it's a 10-foot vertical move, like a 45-degree angle from you. That's going towards its previous location. So yes.
Okay, good. I'm trying to figure if I got to meet her, and my echo goes back to the box. I want to make sure that there's not 30 feet, more than 30 feet between us.
Now understand that 10 foot that you move, that radius, that I keep wanting to say her name, but you don't know her name yet. That the satire's producing, push those spiders out towards you all. You still got to move through spiders to get there, which is difficult terrain. Okay.
Right.
And there's a chance of damage if you don't do a dexterity saving throw properly.
Right.
So, but that's the course you want to take. That's fine. Now, how are you looking? You've taken a little bit of damage, but I know you got some good defenses. Are you doing all right?
Yeah. So far, so good. I don't
Good,
think
okay.
I've hit a quarter yet,
Okay.
or 75%. I should say.
Okay, good call, bud. All right, so you want to move. Go ahead and do it. Roll me a dexterity. Are you going right towards her?
Yes. Take that back. I am just over the 75% threshold.
Okay.
But yeah, Rook is going to make a 10-foot movement towards her.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your roll.
And that is a 18.
Okay. That passes. You would only take half damage from what's going on in here.
Okay.
And that would be 20 foot of movement to do that. So you're going to take 2 necrotic and 2 piercing.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to try to line this up right.
All right. And I'll work with you a little bit because we're using theater in mind. So if you have something involved in mind, I'll take a little bit of movement to make it work for you if we have to. You know what I mean?
Right.
So what are you trying to accomplish here,
So
buddy?
I'm going to attack the cloaked figure with my scimitar.
Awesome.
That's first.
Regular melee attack, right?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead. Do you have anything special you can do if that's this level, or you just swing it away?
Not yet.
And do you have 1 attack this turn or 2?
A 4 every 3. So I think that's 1, 1, 2, right?
Yes.
Let's see here.
Look at you knowing rules. You homebrew beast, you. Good stuff, sir.
Oh, I try.
I like our method. I do. I like our stuff, man. It's good.
No, nothing special. That is 22 to hit.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Even tell me what it looks like when you hit her, too. Get her. I mean, there's the shape of a boob, but, I mean, I wouldn't call it a her exactly. You know what I'm saying? This is a feminine-filled, I don't know what you want to call it. It's disgusting.
All right. So his whole aim is swiping at the cloaked figure.
Okay. Yeah, gotcha.
And I don't know if it matters, but it is 5 slashing damage.
It does matter.
And at the same time,
I have to do something real quick.
okay.
Oh. Aren't you lucky? She rolled a natural 1 on her concentration check. Spiders are... What's the item? And she's there. The spiders halt and no longer project or move out further at her command. And as that happens, and you slash through her, you can see one of the arms starts to fall a little bit, as if it's being disanimated, and you can see the cloak on her head begin to droop oddly, like halfway through where her face would be, and you can see the shape of an unhappy feminine face underneath her going, yeah, and like she's losing control of some of the shape of what they can do. And the spiders stop progressing at that point. Okay? Go ahead. That's one attack, yes.
Okay. So with that, I'm going to use, and this is going to kind of be in tandem.
Okay.
So imagine these happening at the same time.
Okay.
At the same time, the Echo is going to manifest the battle axe.
Got it.
Two-handed.
Okay.
And it is going to backtrack and swing down on the box, while Rook uses his reaction to chuck one of those daggers out of his belt at the box.
Okay. And what did we call that where you were able to do a dagger as a reaction?
Oh, just a dagger toss.
Was it just a feat or something that you particularly learned, or a skill that we talked about? Or
Well, that was the belt that he bought, the dagger belt.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. So, I'm trying to remember. It's cool for now. But I'm trying to remember the conditions where you can use that reaction to do attacks. I think it was if someone was within so many feet of you, you could use it as a reaction for them getting within range of you as like a defensive measure to like almost like a taser to someone, you know. So
I remember you saying that I could throw anywhere from 1 to 4, but if any more than 1 took a penalty to the hit.
And you're just going 1, right?
Yeah, just chucking a single die.
Well, here's the thing. I'll let you use it as reaction if it was that case where someone comes into your range and comes up to you to attack you. But you're at a standstill, so really you're just using it as an extra attack here, which wasn't its initial purpose. Now, if you were to use your normal attack on your turn to do it, that's one thing. But the belt actually gives you the ability to unlock a reaction to people coming up and aggressing at you. So you could use it as your attack and do up to 4, or you could use it as a reaction when someone gets up in your face. It's like a pepper spray of darts, but nothing has triggered that reaction because you're.
It says if within 10 feet of a creature, you may throw 3 daggers at once. Each dagger having the after the first gives a penalty of -1 to the attack. So it doesn't specify that it has to be at the creature. It's just if within 10 feet of a creature.
Okay, how many times a day can you do that with this?
I have 10 daggers on the belt.
Okay.
And they don't reappear. I have to actually get them specially made to refill it.
Okay. I'll let you do it, but we'll work on getting the specifics down, kind of what I was saying just a minute ago in the future,
Okay.
which sounds fair, correct?
Oh, yeah.
But I don't want to interrupt your turn with this.
A reaction to somebody entering my threat range.
Yes. So go ahead and roll for whichever one you're wanting to go first here. Or you want to do the echo first, then a dagger?
But it's going to be kind of the same time.
Okay, for that, I want you to roll me a dexterity check to see if you can pull that off. And at the same time kind of thing.
It's a 5.
Yeah, you cannot coordinate that to meet at the same time. You find it difficult with all the spiders and things of that nature. But now I'll let you choose which one goes first.
It'd be the echo first.
Okay, so as this shadowy...
If there's a locking mechanism and he can slam it down and the dagger just goes chink into the lock.
Yeah. Oh, shit, Jeremy. I've got to roll something to see if something happens, okay? Does your echo have a physical impact on the things around it other than attacking? Like stepping? pressure
It-
plates and shit
It
like that.
says it's immune to all conditions. Bonus actions here. Let's see.
There's a reason I'm asking
Last
that.
us destroyed. It has an AC. Immunity to all conditions. If it has to make a saving throw, it uses your saving throw bonus for the roll.
Okay. So I'm
And
trying to
it
decide
is
if...
the same size and it occupies its space, so I would say it has weight.
Okay. So I know if it takes 1 point of magical base damage, it dissipates.
Mm-hmm.
And it's getting ready to walk through 10 foot of these spiders to be able to go in there and get into the center of this holy thing so it can hit this thing.
Right.
I'm sitting here trying to decide if these spiders would notice it.
Oh, I'll tell you how we'll mitigate that.
You get my issue, right?
Yeah.
So
So
what do you want to do?
I haven't used my bonus action this turn, right?
You have not.
I'll just teleport. Swap places with my echo. Let the echo hit it with the scimitar. I'll take the battle axe.
Okay. We can do that at it. That works. So it has the same shit as you do, right? Now, did you? But you had to walk up to her.
Mm-hmm.
But you walked up first,
Yep.
then used
walked
your
up,
bonus
and then-
action. Okay, that's fucking clever. That works. Man, I'm going to use up all my whiteout on this one. Fuck's sake, buddy. So, to paint the picture, you use Rook's movement to walk up there because you know your echo couldn't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
You get up to that place, right?
Yep.
And right before you get ready to attack it, you're like, not me. And all of a sudden, your echo's there with a scimitar and goes to hit her and puts that slice in her, which makes her drop her concentration on a lot of the spiders. They don't progress. Next thing you know, you're over here. Okay? Draw out the battle axe. Now you're going. You're 10 foot through here. Okay, again. Okay, so I'm going to need another dexterity saving throw.
Great. That's a 9.
A 9.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how many feet of movement do you have per turn?
35.
So that was 20 earlier.
Yep.
It's 10 foot again, which would be 20 more foot of movement to get through here. Because it's 10 foot wide swath of them, right?
Right.
But I'm also going to help you out a little bit. I'm going to have you roll this check with advantage because she lost her concentration there for a minute on these spiders and they're not as active as they were. So roll that d20 again.
18.
Okay, so that's half. Okay, so you're only taking 3 points of necrotic and 2 points of piercing. Okay? And you are standing. I mean, there's no way around it, my friend. With having to get through and trudge through all this stuff, you're about just on the inside of that 10-foot ring. So there's a 5-foot space between you and the actual box. There's no way around it. I've done everything I can for you.
Yeah. Well, if you'll let me, rather than pulling out the battle axe, he'd pull out his bow.
Last edit. That's fine. And do you even want to move at that point, or are you just going to shoot from where you were? No, I'm going to say that
we'll
you
go ahead and
trudged
say-
through it, realized you were going to come up short.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll
so
let
the
you have.
bow-
I'll let you have one bow shot at it.
Cool. That's all I need.
Okay.
Because that bow has the mirage binding on it. So when he goes to launch that arrow at the box, it is 3 bolts, 1d4 plus 1 force damage that arrow turns into as it turns into the magic missile.
That's awesome. Roll your attack.
That's a 16.
16 hits. Roll your 3d4 plus 3.
That is 10 points of force damage.
Good job. Okay. As you shoot and hit that, you see this character they're calling Orden look up through stern eyes over in your direction. And as he gets an intimidating look from it because you shot up near and toward him, when they hit the box and hit so hard, he looks up at you. He says, "Again!" And he pulls up the trident and he's getting ready to go back at it again. Okay? With that, Arsin, that's the end of your turn, correct? Yes? Okay. Alright, let's go ahead and do... Okay. It is the whatever this thing's turn is what it is. It is going to... With you right beside it, and then the echo doing what it did. She wouldn't do that. She knows better. Let me make sure. We're doing Arcana. Yeah, she knows better. Okay. With that, she is going to take her bonus action. She has a certain feat that she's going to do something. She is collecting and gaining her power with her bonus action. And now she is going to do a Dispel Magic. And she's going to try to take down this aura that this satire is trying to hold up. We'll see how this goes. That is a fail. She was not able to do it. Shit. Okay, that would have been a real mess too. But I'm willing to do it. You know, I'm trying to fucking kill people here. So, with that, she used her bonus action to intensify her chance on that. And even giving advantage on the roll because of her bonus action, she rolled like a 7 and a 4. It was shitty. So now, she's going to... That'd be the end of her turn. She's not going to move from there. She's staying around the outside of that that aura. She's going to use her movement. And she's going to walk around counterclockwise to get in close to Symvana, or to the satire. And she's going to try to intimidate her with words and things of that nature. So as she goes around and she walks alongside of that in this form, this spider-like humanoid that's filling up this cloak and using it to transport itself along here. It's almost like the Silence of the Lambs, like she's walking on her side of the prison bars and looking into this satire, trying just everything to hold this staff and trying to focus and hold everybody back so Orden and now you can try to close or destroy this device, right? And as that's happening, she goes over and you can hear these words because now you're just inside of this and you can see from the inside of this holy area that she's produced, you can see her and her hand goes up against the outside of it, and as she rubs her fingers along the outside, Rook, you can see the spiders kind of die off and turn into little flaming pieces of spark and ash as she kind of pushes against, and her face is kind of twisting and moving as she's looking in. She goes, "You can't deny me forever. I've came here to claim what is mine." I don't mind taking a soul or two along the way. Tell me, Symphona, what haunts your dreams? And she walks along. I got a little sadistic here, I apologize. And that's what she's doing as her free action, and just throwing shade and like just being intimidating as fuck. Alright. Moving along. Let's go ahead and go to Arsin, buddy. Tell me things, bud. What you doing?
Right. How far would you say I am to the girl?
To her now, from where you're at, "65 feet.
Jesus.
You're still 30 foot back away from where she was.
Uh-huh.
Then she used her bonus action to teleport via spiders and get over to the ring, and as she's walked up around counterclockwise to them. Spicy food. So, yeah, it's a distance on here.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing between. You got free walking, but then you've got a 10-foot area of spiders that you have to walk through to be able to get to her. It's difficult terrain, could cause some damage and shit.
Uh-huh. Alright, so I can't do that.
Roll a
What
history check.
can I do?
Roll a wisdom history check.
I was about to like, what can I even do? Because all of mine are close range.
Right? Well, you could dash and get close. That'd be one thing.
I got a natural 20.
Did you get a natural 20?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Look through your other classes' stuff and see if there's something there that you could do that would help you in this situation. Do you have that stuff pulled up and available to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you need a minute, or you think you've got it? You can get a pretty good idea pretty quick. Is there anything in there as far as a spell possibly that they could do at 3rd level of that class, or a special ability that they have that would work in this situation?
Okay, so with this, did I ever like choose a 3rd level path for this class, or?
If you did, you did, and you didn't tell me. No.
All right. Okay. I was looking at it earlier because like what the features were for 3rd level didn't connect. It was like a hack thing, so I think I know which one I'm going to choose.
Right.
And let's see, what can I do with any of these? Can I do?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do.
It might take me a minute because it's been slow.
Okay, I'm going to pause it again for just a minute and get some tea. And then we'll come back to this, and I'll give you some time to look at this for like just 5 or 10 minutes, because we really haven't had a proper break, except for earlier, which has been a while. So I'll go ahead and pause because Colby is a slowpoke. And we'll come back to this when satellites have hooked up and he has a game plan. Does that work?
No, it just happens. I have a whole bunch of stuff for one guy.
I get it. All right, we'll be back here in just a minute, everyone. Okay, I've got tea. We've made some decisions and talked about stuff. Colby, sir, what is it that Arsin is doing on his turn?
He will be using his bonus action to cast the Hex enchantment.
Nice.
And then
Yes.
and then he would use all of his movement to get closer to the girl.
Okay, so you've got, what was it, 40 foot of movement normally?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to say that's 30 to get up to where she was. Then I'll do another one. That's going to put you right on the outside edge of this 10-foot ring of spiders that is pushed all the way up around the 10 to 20 foot radius circle that is around this box. Okay? So that's going to put you right on the outside edge of it. I'm going to move you up here. Okay? And then, all right. Go ahead and do your hex. Tell me what that entails and what it looks like.
So it's a range of 60 feet, and it's a concentration for up to 1 hour. And yeah, until the spell ends, I can always deal an extra 1d6 necrotic damage whenever I hit it with an attack. But also, I can choose an ability that you when I cast a spell that gives the target disadvantage on the ability checks with that chosen ability.
That's pretty cool. It's not bad for 3rd level. That's some neat shit there to use around. That's awesome, buddy. So you don't choose what that's going to hex right now. That's just something that it's almost like a cursed hunter's mark for you. It's some cool shit and a hunter's mark kind of a thing. Yeah. Okay, I like it. Good deal. Is there anything else you'd like to do on your turn? Or you can... And here's the thing, too. If you want to... We don't use this much. You can ready an action. So if you can't reach her right now...
All right.
You could say, hey, the second she gets within range of me, I'm blasting her if I get a chance. You know, so keep those things in mind, and that can happen at any time, right? So do you want to utilize that, or do you want to throw a weapon at her, even? I mean, fuck, you could do that from there.
I would say when she gets into my movement range, well, like, if she stays in my movement range by the end of my next turn, by the start of my next turn, I think I'll use a leaping strike. Get ready a leaping strike.
Awesome, and you have the ability to do leaping attacks, don't you? By using, but it takes movement though to do them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If she stays in that range.
Okay, cool. It sounds good. All right, so you have a ready to attack. I got it. Okay, now we're going to move on to... Let's see here. We've got... That was Arsin. Now we're going to go down to... Okay, now we're going to go to the Swarm. And the Swarm is dazed right now because she lost her concentration on it. Then she tried to break the spell and failed that. So the Swarm is going to be... stationary, and Rook is out of it. The Echo is in it. Even if the Echo passes the saving throw, it's still going to take a point of damage. So the Echo is going to be no more at the start of the Swarm's turn. Okay? And then, that is going to be it for the Swarm on that turn, because she lost her connection with them. Now they're just kind of mindlessly. Okay, that's that. And now it is Symphona's turn. The satire. Okay, on her turn. Make sure let me fix something here real quick. Just a minute. Okay. Alright. So, on Symphona's turn, she is now going to do a contested thing against the this entity made of spiders. And she is going to try to push back and expand this 5 foot further. And she is going to begin singing while she's doing this. So, as she is moving the staff around, Rook and Arsin, you would hear these beautiful, enchanting words start to come from this satire-like druidess that is in the middle of this, wearing this long green and silver cloak. And she's moving this thing around, and as she's picking it up, she's saying these words and she's singing. And as she gets ready to hit a high note, she slams the staff back down and tries to push this boundary out. We're going to do a contesting spell war here. I want you, Jeremy, to roll against me. You're going to be rolling for her. You're going to be rolling a 1d20 and a 1d8. And you're rolling for the spiders. And I am rolling against that, the higher one's going to win this. Cocked. What'd you get? What'd you get?
Natural 20 for a 26.
Fuck. You were rolling for the spiders. You realize that?
Nope, I thought it was the other way around.
Nope. And I said, did I not say that, Colby? I told him. I said you're rolling for the spiders, and I'm rolling for her. So
you said you said I'm rolling against you, and I'm thinking, okay, you're the bad guy.
I'm rolling
against the good guy.
It's all good. No shit. So with that, the spiders gain ground, and now this aura is only a 10-foot radius, and the spiders grow in 5 foot and move in closer. With that, shit, that makes that puts him falling like right there on the edge. Orden gets caught in it as it moves in on him. He's rolling dex. Fails. Ah, shit. Ooh, 7 and 4. 11. Okay. Alright, as it moves in, Orden, they start to crawl up him, and he takes that trident and starts swatting around and moving and trying to get shit off of him and stuff as they start. And he yells back at the satire that is losing this battle against the arcane might of this spider-like, sorceress-like figure. And he's like, you just need to hold on. A few more moments. That's all I'm going to need. One more good strike should do it. Hold on. Okay. With that, let's go ahead and go to... That's going to be Orden. It's his turn. Okay. So. Come on, baby. Nat 20. Nat 20, sir. He picks up the lance. And he's going to do a cleaving strike. To come down on top of this thing. He's going to use a leap. He's going to come down with that trident like lance. And he's going to attack that thing. Let me go ahead and do his strength. To see what that does to this. And that's a freaking 18 on top of that. Holy shit, dude. That's going to be... Dude, that's awesome. That's 3 of those. Plus that 3d4 for the lance. Plus his bonuses. Which are this. Holy shit, guys. And this is all doubled. Okay, and that's 2, 5... because I just want to know what this number ends up being. 7, 12, 16, 21 times 2 is 42 plus bonuses. 49. 49. And as that happens... Fucking A with 20. As that happens... With the help of Rook's multiple shot on this container, the container breaks. And his trident finds purchase into the stone of the courtyard in the ground beneath it and cracks the actual stone it hits in the middle of as the box comes apart. As that happens, you see this spider-like sorceress construct of spiders start with a painful look, and as you can see, the cloak itself starts to... It's almost like when paper burns, you see those small holes with the golden ring around where they grow. That red cloak begins to burn away that way, almost like paper floating up out of a fire. And the spiders on this side of things that you can see begin to dissipate and crawl around frantically as they're going through the same burning process that she is. And as she starts to fade away and the spiders start to fall away and disform her, and she almost goes into the floor and almost like a melting kind of look, but it's just spiders falling to pieces and falling apart with these like embers blowing off of them. She looks towards Rook. And as the head looks up, and the mouth opens up and the face forms again. And it makes a swash of hair as it's starting to fall down into the ground and just starting to fall into what looks like melting into a puddle. It says, I'll see you soon. And that's it. Do you have anything that you say in this moment?
I think he's just going to give it a dead stare.
As she falls to pieces, her eyes locked onto yours all the way down through here until there's nothing left of the face and the spiders are gone. Okay? I need you to roll a perception check with disadvantage, Jeremy.
It's not bad. It's a 16 and a 12. Disadvantage on perception, 17.
Okay. Write down. Don't write anything down. I'll write it down. Just a minute. Okay. You see this happen as well, Arsin. I need you to do a perception check with disadvantage, please. What'd you get?
$16.
Okay, thank you. Just a minute. All right. As that happens, we are out of initiative right now. Okay, we're out of battle. And you would see this satire fall down to her knee, using the staff to hold her up. And as she does this, there's something that you notice, Rook, as being the closest. She doesn't look healthy. And as she does, when these leaves and this fall tempest that was surrounding this place drops, floating down in front of you, you can't help but naturally hold your hand down and check on this. But one of the leaves from the spell floats down and lands into your hand, but then it withers up and crumples up into like a black dead leaf as it's in your hand, and you look over at her and she coughs. Orden, this large feathered haired man, pulls the hood up over his head real quick and shoots you a very concerning look and goes over to her, and he holds a silken rag up to her mouth and he says, "Rest easy, you've done fine. We must go. Who are you? And why are you trying to help us?" And he's asking that of you as he's tending to her down on one knee over her. He has his trident. As he's holding that silken rag to her face, he's just fixing that trident on some kind of set of brackets or something onto his back.
I am here. I couldn't tell you. However, that box, I was set up to deliver it to him. And he points to Hector.
Okay. As you see Hector in slow motion, he's like this. And he's barely moving at all. And he's got that scimitar up in his hand, and he's knocking he's still in motion, knocking spiders off before they became dust. So he's stuck in that motion still, wide-eyed and panicked. You have a feeling that he may be stuck in the same kind of illusionary kind of thing that you were earlier. You don't know what he's seeing, but he has the same look of fear that you had. Okay? Okay, that phantasmal killer's a bitch. Okay? So, but I thought it was really proper for that, a side effect of that swarm. It's nice stuff. With that, the young woman speaks up. And she looks up at you, and when you see her, and he moves that back from her, you can see there looks to be some kind of green blood that is formed on that silken handkerchief that he was wiping her face off with. And she looks up to you with weakening eyes that are barely glowing gold at this point, as the fireflies come back to her and land and begin to crawl into her hair, and the lights seem to recede. She has a long set of twisted horns that look more like antlers than they do actual like demon-like horns, okay? But are far more grandiose than the normal small spikes of a satyr, okay? And she says to you, we've been watching you all for some time. I just didn't know how this was going to happen. We foresaw this. She coughs again as Orden studies her. She goes, find us later. We are at the Huntsman's Guild, the Dark Wood Huntsman of Hamelsbyre. I am Symphona, their leader. And this is Orden, one of the last of his kind. But she doesn't tell you what kind. She goes, this won't be the last time that something like this happens. And I don't know how much longer I'll be here to stop it. We owe you our thanks. And then again, maybe not. And she gives you a long look.
Seems the only one owed thanks is you. I stepped into the wrong trap. Had you lot not shown up, it's hard to say.
Orden steadies her shoulder, and he takes a step towards you and says, I'll have some questions, and then we'll try to see the nature of this. The true face of whatever this is. Would you agree to answer a few questions for us at the guild?
You'll find no qualms from me. My friend, however, I'm not sure.
He looks over. Arsin, are you saying anything at this point, as you would be walking up pretty close to this conversation that's going on?
Yeah.
I'm willing to follow.
What's that, bud?
I'm willing to follow. I'm willing to follow if you have questions.
Okay. With that, all of a sudden, you look and there's snow falling in front of you again. As you see it and you look around, you start to hear the sounds of voices again, panicked, like running. Time is starting to speed up again. As whatever this is that brought this piece of the Netherfall to us seems to have been vanquished for now. And with that, we'll go ahead and end tonight's game. Okay? There's going to be more in these moments that the rest of the group will need to be here for. but because you were able to fight back the potency of what was causing that box to react in the way it did, you just saved people a hell of a lot of trouble. Okay?
Caused it too, but
Yeah, but we'll get to that, right? So that's going to have a direct effect on all this, and with that happening, the show still may be able to go on. We'll just have to see how Az'ara and the family react to this, and then you guys have met some new people. Okay? So, does anyone have any questions about that or anything before we go ahead and shut down for tonight?
Nope.
All right. So, as always, once again, I'm Brian, joined by Colby and Jeremy. With thanks for hanging out and doing this with us. Like I say, last minute ideas, but I think it worked out pretty good. We got our first taste of what the Netherfall really is like. We got some origins of you guys. We got to work on some mechanics. You got to meet some bad people, and you got to maybe meet some good people. So some cool shit is had here. What's great is about this is there's so many questions that are unanswered. How were they able to traverse this place as you guys are? Didn't ask, but we'll get to it. You know, what the hell is it? There's a lot of questions that this raises, and I'm pretty sure I've got the answer. So I think we're going to be okay. I think I've crossed my T's and dotted my I's. I think we'll be all right. So having said that, once again, hopefully we'll know we got a long break coming up, don't we? Yeah, we won't be doing this for a while. That's why we record it, so we can review and see what we're doing in the future. So yeah, we'll get everyone back here full tilt, and we'll probably see you guys near the last weekend of October. So until then, take care, everybody. We'll talk to you.